Noch ein Schnitt hat Jakob sich umgekehrt zu dem Stall auf den Berg. After the harvest, Yaakov returned himself or turned back to the barn on the mountain. Aber schon nicht auf lang. But this was not going to be for a long time. Bald wollen sich anhäuben die Kelten und die Behemoth wollen dort nicht haben, was zu essen. Very soon, the cold would set in, and the animals wouldn't have enough. There wouldn't be enough for the animals to eat. Die Tag seien geworden kürzer, die Nacht länger. The days became shorter and the nights became longer. In der Früh, wenn Jakob ist rausgegangen, unreißen groß, in the morning, when Yaakov went outside to pull grass, haben sich Neppeln gehäuben von der Erde. There were mists rising from the earth, weiße wie Milch, white as milk. Über die waldige Gedichtenichten auf der Rücknis von der Berg haben sich geflochten wolkendicker Zepp. Over the thickness of the forest, the thick forest on the spines of the mountain, there were twisted, cloudy braids. I hope that's a reasonable translation. Auf der Bergspitzen seien gesessen wolkendicke Hitlen. On the tops of the mountains sat cloudy hats, little caps. Der Schettach herum ist mehr nicht so ausgeleitet in Frühmorgen. The Shetach, the ground, the area around didn't light itself up in the morning, didn't become as bright as in the morning. Nur als is unklar, verschwommen, but everything was unclear and cloudy. Es ist geworden als schwerer Unterschieden zwischen der Räuch, was geht auf von Feuer, was die Pastucher sinden und zwischen an Neppel. It became more difficult to differentiate between the smoke that came up from the fires that the shepherds lit and the mists. Die Vögel haben geschrien und gekracket wie in etwas a feugelsche Behela. The birds were screaming and carrying on as if in some kind of a bird chaos. Winden seinen angelaufen von der Heuchen, ungetragen schneeige Kälte. The winds began to come from on high, and they brought with them a snowy cold. Später zu ist die Sonne heraus und es ist wieder geworden sommerlich. Later on, when the sun came out, it became again summery warm. Warm as in summer. Aber gegen Abend ist von der Schnee geworden kalt. But as evening came in, it once again became cold. Jakob hat eingerissen, wie viel Rosen und Blätter hat nur gekonnt. Jakob was pulling as much grass and leaves as he was able to. Aber es hat nicht gekleckt for the behemoths. But it didn't satisfy, it was not sufficient for the animals. Sie haben hungriger gemurket, geklappt mit die Tollen in Deal. They hungrily complained, and they stamped with they hit the ground with their hooves. Teilmal haben sie afilu gestoßen mit de Fies bei der Milch. Sometimes they even stamped with their feet at the time of milking. Jakob hat sich wieder gehabt genommen zum Auskritzen die Tariag Mitzvahs auf den Stein. Aber bei Tag hat gehabt wenig Zeit und bei Nacht ist finster. Yaakov started once again to inscribe or to scratch out the 613 mitzvahs on the stone that you recall he had there. But during the day, he didn't have enough time. He had little time. And at night, it was too dark. Der Vernacht ist heint zugefallen gich. This night fell quickly. Die Sonne ist gehat herunter, hinter a Wolken und zugedeckt der ganze Meerev. The sun went behind a cloud. I don't know why it says gehat herunter, hinter. Hinter meaning behind, but why herunter? Behind.
The sun went down behind a cloud.
Went down behind a cloud and covered the whole west.
And it's Meirev in Yiddish. Meirev.
Oh, Meirev. Okay, thank you. Meirev. Leut Jakobs Cheshbon hat heint gesollt sein 17 Tag in Elul. According to Yaakov's calculation, today should be the 7th day of Elul. Hat allein gehat Mekadesh. You probably don't say it that way in Yiddish.
Yeah, Mekadesh.
Mekadesh. Gewein dem Chodesh, Leut dem Molad von dem Levona. He had himself been counting the month according to the stages of the moon.
Well, the Molad is the birth of the moon, the new moon.
Okay.
That's Moiled.
The Hebrew word nolad. Moiled, is that the way you say it? Moiled. Von der Levona. Aber macht nicht macht nicht a toys, but maybe perhaps he was making a mistake. Bet Jakob, nicht amol reißen großen, beestes Jiden auf der Welt wollen bloßen Schofel und singen die Yamim Norem diker nigunim. Would he, Yaakov, not sometimes be pulling the grass at the time that the Jews around the world would be blowing shofar and singing the nigunim from the high holidays, we'll call it, all right? Ist jetzt gesessen in Stall und gemacht a Zechokel von sein Zechakel von seine Jahren. He now sat in the barn and made a summary of or an overview of his years. Seit gedenkt, hat allemal gehört reden, als Jakob oder Yankele, wie mir hat ihm gerufen Jingelweiß, as long as he could remember, he had always heard a talk that he, Yaakov, or Yankele, as he was called in his childhood, is a bar mazel, is a lucky person. Der Vater, I don't want to read beyond my time. I'll just read two more sentences. Der Vater is gewein a Walsocher und a Nugget. His father was a wood merchant and a rich man. Hat abgekauft Wälder by Pritzim. He bought forests from noblemen. Gelost oishaken de Beimel, was Teugenfall gehilts, geschickt mit dem Teichbug und dem Weißel, Plittin kein Danzig. He bought the forests from these Pritzim, Poritzim, and they cut the wood that was suitable for gehilts. I don't know what gehilts is. For
firewood or just
for
wood.
Firewood.
It's
for
lumber.
Wood.
Lumber.
And it was shipped with the
subject
river.
Here is the subject is he. So he sent it.
Oh, and he sent it. Geschickt mit dem, and he sent it on the river Bug and the Vistula on rafts to Danzig. Hat allemal gebracht von Weg, Matanes von ihm, Jacobin, und von seine Schwester. He, that is the father, would always bring from the trips, from the journeys, gifts for him, Yaakov, and for his sisters. I think I should stop there and give somebody else a chance. Elsa. Elka, is it Elka or Elsa?
Elke with a K.
Elka, thank you.
Die Mama, Glickelsissel oder Sischen, ist geboren geworden in Preisen, wo der Vater ist gewesen Aref. Mm-hmm. So the mother, and is Glickelsissel her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Or Ziskin, I suppose that's her nickname, had been born, and Preußen must be the name of the town, but do we know what we call it in our language?
Is
Prussia. Prussia.
Oh, in Prussia, where the father had been a rabbi. Sie hat gekonnt reden Deutsch, schreiben, loschen Kodesh dicken brief, and she knew how to speak German, and she could write a letter is that Lashon Kodesh, is that Hebrew?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. she could write a letter in Hebrew. Sie hat sich gefühlt anders wie die Weiber in Polen. She felt that she was different from the women in Poland. Die Tieren,
I think she behaved. She isn't
gefühlt, that's the word.
isn't it like she behaved differently
Yes.
than the other women?
Geführt is behaved.
Well, sich führen, to carry oneself.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So she
This
behaved
was a
differently.
German princess.
Right. Die Tieren in Huis haben gehabt meschene kliomkes. The doors in the house had, can somebody help me with meschene kliomkes?
Brass knobs.
Thank you.
And it's the yod after the lamed is just modifies the lamed. Tiamkes, not kliamkes, but tiamkes.
Kliomkes, okay. Auf den Fußboden seinen gelegen Teppiche. And on the foot mats, there were slippers that you could put on.
No, teppiche are rugs. Rugs.
Oh, rugs. Thank you. Tee und Have seinen gewinn als Seltenkeit, a viele bei Gidim, bei Nogidim, aber bei Jakobs Eltern hat man getrunken Have jeden Tag zum Anbeißen. So tea and coffee, Seltenkeit. Is Seltenkeit it's on special days?
A Zelten is seldom. A Zeltenkite is something that happened seldom.
Okay,
a novelty.
Yeah. So with most of the rich people, they would drink tea and coffee only rarely, but Yaakov's parents used to drink coffee every day. Zum Anbeißen, is that like a snack?
At breakfast.
For breakfast. Die Mama is given a...
Or maybe it could be lunch.
Die Mama is given Modim in Kochen, Backen, Nähen, Stricken. And what is Modim?
It's Maidam, and it means expert.
So mother was an expert in cooking, baking, sewing, and what is Stricken?
Knitting.
Knitting, thank you.
Yeah.
This
was an amazing woman. Amazing.
What is stricken?
Knitting.
Knit.
Knitting.
Knitting. Okay.
Sie hat gelernt mit die Töchter Tanach und sie gewissen Mustern auszunähen auf Canva. She had learned with her daughters, and I need help with the rest of that sentence. I'm sorry.
Tanakh, the holy books, the sacred books.
Right. Und sie gewissen Mustern. Can somebody help with you?
Yeah, she showed them patterns for knitting on canvas.
Okay. I think I'm going to pass the torch. Let somebody else.
Embroidering.
I thought, yeah.
It could be embroidery. Yeah.
Embroidery, yeah.
Who is next?
She was like this German princess, really, like what the Russian czars married.
I could try, but I don't know if my translating is going to be nearly as good. Should I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we all go up and down.
Die Mädchen haben Hasene gehabt jung. I guess the girls were married young. El Jakob und zu 11 Jahr geworden Achasen mit der Tochter von Josep Pavel Rosh Hakahal. So I'm not familiar with that word.
Hakahal.
Hakahal.
See.
Rosh Hakol.
Rosh Hakol. That's how you say that, Rosh Hakol?
No, not Rosh. Rosh. Rosh Hakol.
Rosh
Rosh
Hakol.
There's no O sound in Yiddish.
Negid und Häufig. Okay, it's a bit much. Where did the sentence start again? One sec. Yaakov, is to 11
At 11 years old.
11 years old. A groom with.
He became a groom.
Pardon?
He was engaged to.
Engaged to the daughter of, well, Yusufafor, Rosh Hakahal. I don't know how to pronounce that. Head of, what is Hakahal?
Community.
The leader of the community.
Leader of the community. Okay.
But can I just ask how that pronounced? Because of course I would say Rosh, but how does that, Rafael, how do you say that?
Rosh
Rosh.
HaKol. And you just make it a long call.
Rosh HaKol.
Yeah.
So Rosh HaKol. So okay, Rosh HaKol.
Rav
And
Abraham
Yusufov is the name of the town.
Yeah, that's the town that Yaakov is from. That's where he was taken from. That's the start of the story with the Chmielnicki massacre.
So I don't know if I translate late. And Negid una Yid. So what's a Negid is
A nogid, a rich man.
a rich man, and I guess Yid is like a
Dan Israel or Dan Jews.
Pardon?
A Hoifid is someone who, I think, often finds himself in the courtyard of the nobility, the Polish nobility.
Okay, I was going to say like a high.
Yeah, but he himself is his income most likely comes from being associated with the local nobility.
Okay. Dikala Zelda Leah. So the bride Zelda Leah is given Yingel fun im mit ayor. So the bride Zelda Leah, it was younger than him by a year. Yaakov hat gehat a guten Kopf zum Lernen. Yaakov had a good head for learning. Zu 8 Jahr hat schon gelernt a Blatt Gemara. So for 8 years,
when he was 8 years old.
When he was 8 years, he read what's a Blatt?
A page of.
Okay, a page of Gemara.
Now this is exceptional. Most kids, Cheder kids, wouldn't get to Gemara till they were maybe 13 or so. But he's 8 years old and he can already read a page of Gemara.
Die Tanaim hat gesagt sein eigenst Apostel. This one I'm going to help with. What's Tanaim?
The Tanoim are the sages of the Mishnah.
Okay.
Tanoim.
No, I think it's the engagement.
Oh, no, you're right. This is
engagement.
This is different.
And the engagement part.
ceremony.
At the engagement party.
Right, it could be either, but here it is the engagement. Right.
Tnoim. Lo mir
Okay.
schneiden Tnoim.
Yeah, Tanoim. Engagement ceremony.
Okay. He said his against
His own.
Pardon?
His own.
His own pashtul. I don't know what a pashtul is.
It's
Shuttle.
pshat. Pshat, in this case, is a kind of a rabbinic discourse.
Okay.
An explanation of a text.
Okay.
Ja.
Hat sich ausgesetzt mit a schöner Handschrift. So he had what's ausgesetzt? It sounds like with a good handwriting, right?
Ausgezeichnet.
Gezeichnet.
He excelled.
Okay, with a nice handwriting. Gehat a call zum Singen und gewen a Bria in Mollen und in Schnitzen. So having a like, I guess, good at singing and given a bria. I don't know.
A beria,
Beria.
an expert.
An expert in, I know schnitzen is like tailoring, right?
No, that's
Wood.
Schneider. Schnitzen is whittling,
Wait,
Whittling. Okay. So what's Mullen?
painting.
painting.
Painting and whittling. Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, very technical terms here. Hat gemacht a schwitzi für
Shavisi.
sorry?
Shavisi.
A
It's a plaque which points typically to the eastern wall, and it's called by the wording that's on it. Shavisi lifnei Hashem tamid are the words, and so the whole thing is just called a shavisi.
Okay, so he made a shavisi plaque for the synagogue in Reut. In red, green, blue, and sorry, in Reut, green, bleu, purple. So in red, green, blue, purple, mit die 12 Mezulis Arum dem Shem Havia?
Shem Havaya. That's the name of God, Shem Havaya.
Okay. With the 12 Mezulis? I don't know what Mezulis. Constellations around the name of God. Und mit hilt a Leib Lempert und an Odler in die vier Wilklen. So so with I don't know what Hirsch is.
Deer.
A deer. Okay, so I'm challenging my brain here.
These are all animals.
Yeah, lion, a leopard, and
a leopard.
Leopard.
An eagle.
Okay. In the field Windlech. So in the four directions?
Four corners.
Four corners. Okay. Val Shavuos Hotel bedeckt die Fenster von alle Verschuwe Balabitim mit Reislech. For Shavuos, he decorated the windows with all sorts of, I don't know what Shavua
Hashiva, important. Balabatim, householders.
Okay. Mit Reisel, I don't remember, I'm sorry.
Roses, I'd say, little roses.
Okay. For Sukkot hat von Papier ausgeschoren Ketten, Lanternen und allerlei andere Satzkes für Sukkot. So for Sukkot, from paper, ausgeschoren, I guess, I'm not sure what ausgeschoren Ketten is.
He cut out chains.
Okay, cut chains, lanterns, and all sorts of other tchotchkes.
Yes.
Decorations,
I know,
decorations.
I was gonna say tchotchkes. Is that not it?
Yes.
Tchotchkes, right? From paper, I've never seen that in Yiddish, which is funny because it's from Yiddish, right? When from paper, Oiskisher and oh sorry, I've got back to the same line. Tchotchkes for circus decorations. He is gewachsen, hoch, gesund. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure. What's gewachsen hoch?
He grew tall.
Oh, okay,
He was
okay.
tall, handsome, everything.
Anyway, maybe I'll pass on to someone else.
Where am I? Als hat zu neu gebaut. Is that right? Als hat zu neu gebaut. A
Yes.
Fäust. If he raised a fist, haben 6 Bocheren sie nicht gekonnt aufreißen. Then 6 Bocheren boys couldn't counter him, like if he was threatening them. Is that right?
If he balled his hand into a fist,
Right.
the six couldn't open it.
Oh, then, okay, thank you.
His hand was so strong they couldn't
Okay, his hand was so strong. Der Vater hat ihm früh gelernt schwimmen. His father taught him how to swim early. Leighton Klapter.
Leighton Klapter is a technical expression. It is the crawl stroke.
Oh, the crawl. Oh, das ist
Wow.
interessant. Okay, that's a new one for me. Legen Klapter, machen Wassertritt. That's to tread water, but Klapter is a new one altogether.
It goes together. Legen Klafter is doing the crawl.
Stroke.
Yeah, do the crawl and what did I say? Tread water. Die Schwester seine, his sisters, his sisters, haben gemurmelt as the Kale, they whispered together that the bride, the betrothed, the Zelda Leia, her name Zelda Leia, is too klein, she's too small, too thin, und is für zu log, an alt gemit und a Klogmutter. Und is for a Zulog. What's for a Zulog?
In addition.
In addition, older, spirited, und a Klogmutter, kind of a bother, like a moody.
It could be a professional mourner, but here it means a crybaby.
Okay. Aber was ist ihm? Jacobin, what about him, Jacobin? Angegangen das 10-jährige Mädel in Josephas. Aber what's it to him, Jacobin? Angegangen das 10-jährige Mädel. To go against this 10-year-old girl in Josephas?
No, the verb ungain, it didn't bother him. Why? Right. What did it bother him?
To go against, like it didn't bother him that he was 10 years old to go against this girl.
There's no going against.
Okay.
The ungangen is just to bother. What did it bother him that this 10-year-old girl in Yusufov?
Okay, so hat ihm gezeugen zum Mechuten der Pfarr. It something about the betrothed, Machatonim. So he didn't want to go against the Machatonim. Is that right?
He was. What did he care about the girl? He was drawn. To the he was drawn to his Mechuten, to his father-in-law.
Der Pfarr, weil, the reason being, hat gehabt as Svorimstub full Svorimstub, a house full of books.
A
Mit,
library.
A
Yeah.
library.
full mit die seltenste Sporen, full of the seltenste, the best,
Rare,
Rarest.
rare.
the rarest books. Dem schwerst. Now, what's a schwerst again?
The Schwer is the
Brother-in-law?
father-in-law.
Rares.
Schwer is father-in-law.
Dem, his father-in-law, a brother, his father-in-law's brother, hat gehad sein eigenem Druckerei, had his own printing press. Is that right?
Yes.
Die Zelde Leia, the girl Zelda Leia, is given a basichite, a basichite. What's
Only child.
an
Only
only
child.
child in a girl form? Okay, Basichit is boy, basichite is girl.
Ben
Yaakov,
Yochid, Bas
Ben
Yechid.
Yachid, thank you. Basichita, an only child. Yaakov hat gekrogen 800 Gildionem Norden. Oh, und ewige Käst. Okay, Yaakov got for the marriage, the betrothal, 800 Gildenim gold.
A gildoin is a unit of currency. It's worth 30
Yeah.
kopecks.
Yeah, Norden as a dowry und ewige Käst. Ewig is a treasure.
Perpetual.
Forever boarding with these people. Kest. He'd be able to live with his in-laws forever and be kept so that he could study. He wouldn't have to work. Abik forever.
Which is
Pretty
quite
good
unusual.
deal.
5 years is a lot for Kest.
Pretty
Yeah.
good deal for old Yaakov. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so the pattern of what it was like in the old country. Right? The Chassan is given a roishike. What's a roishike? The wedding was,
Tumultuous.
oh, a what?
Tumultuous. Tumultuous. A
Tumultuous.
roish is a
Noisy.
commotion. Yeah.
Dos Josephus, the town Josephus is a Kleinstädtel, was a small town, aber Jakob hat sich bald azoi reingetan, but Jacob worked himself in the people, reingetan, he kind of got himself intermixed with them in lernen, in learning, on in the Sforim and in the books, the learned books.
No. Reingetan and lernen. He soon got himself deep into studying.
In the books of the town, right?
Not the town, and in the Sforim. And Sforim here are just holy books.
But he's talking about he got involved in the holy books of the people of Eusephus.
No.
No?
Yusufov was a small town,
Yeah.
but still, he soon he ignored them. He delved into study and into the holy books.
Okay, this next part explains this as er hat vergessen on else, that he forgot everything else. I'm going to stop there. I think it's better for me to listen rather than to try to translate.
Okay, next is Moshe.
Zwar, diezelfde Leia hat gehad österliche Nicken. Sure, Zelda Leia had unusual eccentricities. Wenn die Mutter hat sich auf ihr angeweisert, when her mother got angry with her, hat sie ausgetan schicken Socken. She got undressed, she took off her shoes and socks, und nicht gewollt essen, and didn't want to eat, refused to eat. Sie ist schon gewesen auf Weibel und hat noch als nicht geguckt in die Zeit. She had already become a young wife, but hadn't yet started her menstrual periods. Später, later on, als sie hat sie geguckt, when she actually started the menses, hat sie geblutigt wie lahavdil abehemet trita. Sort of talking about this, lahavdil, excuse me, but she bled like an animal come to slaughter. Before mal wat zich, before mal Jacob, wat zich to ihr nentert, however much, however closely Jacob tried to come to her, wat sie geschrien von Schmerzen, she cried, she yelled because of the pains. Sie hat allemaal gelitten von Brennung unter den Lever. She always suffered from a burning in the pit of the stomach.
That's heartburn.
Heartburn, okay, thank you.
Brennen unter den Lever, heartburn.
Heartburn, okay.
Wait, isn't behemoth like a cow?
Behemoth can be an animal as well.
Any animal?
Oh,
Yeah.
Any domesticated four-legged animal.
Okay.
Also referred to people sometimes. Anyway, whatever. Kopfweitig, headaches, Erbrechenis in the Rücken, pain in the back. Sie hat sich nahe gekrimmt. She would only grimace, nor geweint. She would not only grimace, nor geweint. She cried, nor gehad zu allem pretentious. She had demands on everyone.
She had, excuse me, what was it? She had what?
She had demands.
Demands, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. She, you know, she was a spoiled brat.
She was an odd person.
She was odd, but spoiled. Anyway, let's not argue about that. Aber man hat Jakob gesagt, als das ist der Steiger von Abbas Yechira, but they told Jacob that this is how only daughters behave. Die Schwieger hat sie gehalten, gemacht, abgesondert von ihm. The mother-in-law kept her almost completely separated from him, Jacob, and from Jacob. As the waren drei Kinder, she gave birth to 3 children, aber hat sie recht nicht gekonnt. I think it refers to the love relationship. He really didn't know her, or maybe it wasn't pleasant by her, whatever.
He didn't really know her.
Yeah.
He didn't really know her, yeah.
Die Rede, was sie hat zu ihm teilmal geredet, what she said to him sometimes, the Tanas was to him, the complaints that she had to him, die Stechwörter was mit sie hat sie ihm Jakob stacheliert, the barbs with which she pestered him, seinen ähnlich gewesen zu die Klappenischen von Cheder-Kinder oder glatt von Aronim, was like the babble of school children or just straightforward fools. Sie hat gehört zu jener Chefenischen, was wie viel mir geht sie nicht noch? Oh, there we are. She belonged to those people who, however much you pander to them, is allswenig. It's never enough. It's always too much. Sie hat sich geklagt, als die Mutter ist karg. She complained that her mother was stingy, as their Vater vergesst von ihr, that her father forgets about her, und als Jakob, and that he, Jakob, hat sie nicht lieb, doesn't love her. Aber dabei hat sie keinmal nicht getan etwas, was soll der Wecken Liebschaft, but associated with that, she never did anything that should awaken his love. Sie hat früh bekommen ein paar ausgeweinte Augen. She early on developed eyes that had run out of tears. I'm not sure Oistgewand, or had worked so hard.
Oistgewand, that means eyes that had become ill with crying.
Okay, thanks. Reuter van Noorse red nose toen af haar zottermine toen Emerson was 5 evers nooit von and the heart disheartened, despondent approach of someone who has to do something that is noitig. He really needs to do something, not gedenkt nicht was, but doesn't remember what she has to do. Sie hat sich auf viele nichts aufgegeben mit den Kindern. She didn't even spend time with the kids. Dem ganzen Joch hat getrogen die Mama. Her mother carried the whole burden. Jacob's Schwieger, Jacob's mother-in-law carried the whole burden. Der schwer.
So,
Okay. Der schwer, der Rosh HaKol, hat gewollt, als nachdem wie der alter Josepover Rov wird nifte werden, soll Jakob übernehmen die Stuhl von Rabbonis. His father-in-law, the head of the community, wanted that after the old Rov of Yosefov, after he should pass away, that Yaakov should take over the seat of the rabbinate. Aber der Rov hat gehat a Sohn, Tzadok, und der Tzadok hat gehat a Tzad. But this rabbi had a son by the name of Tzadok, and Tzadok had a Tzad. He had people who affection which supported him. Tzvor, der Rov Avrom Leib, is gewinn a Gewir und a Takif. Aber die Stadtleit haben sich eingespart, als wird das mal nicht ausführen. Admittedly, the Avrom Leib was a wealthy man and an influential man, but the townspeople were insisted that this time this would not happen. Man hat ihm Jaakoven gegen sein Willen reingezogen in a Machloikes. They dragged Yaakov against his will into a dispute. Hat nicht gewollt werden kein Rov. He didn't want to become a rabbi. Hat allein gehört zu jener, was haben gehalten, als Tzadok darf werden der Memale Mekoimoi. He was one of those people who held that that Tzadok ought to become his father's replacement. Der Schwer is Jaakoven der Far geworden Asoine. His father-in-law, for that reason, his father-in-law became his Asoine, his enemy. Noch a while is der Schwer zugestanden, als Jakob soll anheben lernen mit Bocherim. After a time, his father-in-law urged that he, Jacob, should begin to to teach the young boys. Verna Rosh Yeshiva, that he should become the head of the yeshiva. Yaakov allein hat am liebsten gehabt zu sitzen allein in der Sforimstube. Yaakov himself preferred to sit on his own in the library. Hat gelernt Gemora, Tosfos, Meforshim, Poskim, aber mehr noch wie das Lernen Halacha hat gern gehabt, sich zu grübeln in Philosophia, Kabbalah, Lashonis. But more he studied Gemara, Tosfos, commentaries, Meforshim, commentaries, Poiskim, the commentators who made rulings, but more than everything, he loved to study the halacha, the law.
No.
He
Mehr noch wie das Lernen Halacha. More than studying Halacha, he liked Gribelin and Philosophia.
Okay, yeah. More than studying halacha, he wanted to immerse himself in philosophy, Kabbalah, mysticism, and languages. Hat von Kindweis on gesucht dem Tachlis von der Welt. From childhood onwards, he tried to find out the purpose of the world. Geprüft benehmen die Wegen von Rebbeinu Olam, and he tried to understand the ways of the Master of the Universe. Hat gefunden Widersprüchen in Tanakh. He found contradictions in the Tanakh, in Talmud, by aller Größe Leid. Contradictions in the Tanakh, in the Talmud, and all the important commentators. Hat gewusst von Plato, Aristo, und kollerlei Apikorsim. He knew about Plato, Aristotle, and all. Pardon?
Aristotle, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said Aristotle. And all the heretics. Was wären der Mond in der Gemara. All these heretics who were mentioned in the Gemara, in Moire Nevuchim, in Kuzari, in Emunus Ve'adeus, in andere Chakiris Forum. So all of these heretics who were mentioned in the Guide to the Perplexed, the Kuzari, the Emunus Ve'adeus, it's another book of philosophy, and other Chakiris Forum research books. I imagine that would be a
more speculative. No.
Okay, speculative books. Hat gekonnt die Kabbalah von Reb Moshe Cordovera. He knew the Kabbalah of Rabbi Moshe Cordovero und von Ari HaKodesh, and the Ari, the Holy Ari, the Rabbi Yitzchak Ashkenazi, I think his name is. Hat wohl gewusst, als der Yesoid von Yiddishkeit is Emunah. He knew that the basis of Judaism is belief, nicht Seichel, not reason. Aber hat auf sein Steiger geprüft verstehen, wie weit der Verstand konnte greifen. But he tried to find a way to understand how far understanding could reach. Zu was hat Gott beschaffen die Welt? Why did God create the world? Was hat bedarft? Die Klippes, die Sind, die Yisurim. Why did he need to create the Klippos? It's a Kabbalistic term.
The demons.
Sorry?
I think demons is translated as demons as well.
Demons,
Maybe
yes,
another,
but it's...
there may be another reason of translation as well. So
in Kabbalah, there was like a big bang, and the klippos are the edges of the world that were with evil that was dispersed into the world. Die Sind, the sins, und die Yisurim, the suffering. Wie wohl jeder von die Größe hat gegeben an Entfer, is die Kasche geblieben a Kasche. Even though each one of the commentators, of the great commentators, gave an answer, this religious question remained a question. Wie bald der Beschäfer is a kol yachol, hat sich gedacht, begehen on dem, als kleine Kinder sollen sterben und in größe Yisurim und als Reutzchim sollen sein die Herrscher. Since the Creator is omnipotent, he could have done without the fact that small children should die in great suffering and that murderers should be the leaders. Lang eider die Heidemakers seinen befallen Josepov hat man gehört von seiner Mördereien. Long before the marauding Cossacks attacked Yosipov, they had heard about their murderous ways. Bis sis gekommen der Teut, is men früher gestorben mit 1000 Teuten, until by the time that the death had arrived, they had already died thousands of times.
Let me just interrupt here. I looked up what this Emunah v'Deus is, and that is a book by Saadia Gaon, a classic philosophical work with 10 treatises discussing the basic foundations of Jewish belief, composed in Baghdad around 950.
Okay, thank you.
Yankov is kaum alt gewesen 25 Jahre. Yankov was barely 25 years old when the Yevonim haben ihn weggeschleppt, when the Yavonim, literally the Greeks, but here it means the barbarians had dragged him away. A Sechstel von sein Leben is gehat abgekommen da. For a sixth of his life, he had spent it here, in der Heck, in the wilderness, zwischen die Berg, among the mountains, on Mishpacha, on Yidden, on Svarim, without family, without Jews, without books. The Eine von jene nackte neshamas, like one of those naked souls, was voglen arum in Olam Atayu, that wander about in the world of chaos. It's as der Sommer is gehat so gut wie a Riber. Now, when the summer is as good as finished, and es haben sich angehäuben die kurze Tag, and the shorter days were beginning, die Kiele Nacht, the cool nights, hat Yankov wahrscheinlich angetapt dem Choshech Mitzrayim. Jacob quite clearly was feeling the darkness of Egypt, dem Hester upon him, the hidden nature of God's face, das Verborgen Gottes upon him, the hiding of God's face. Von Mora Schreire is Eintritt zu Chfira. From despondency, it's only one step away to what's the word in English?
Heresy.
Heresy, that's it, thank you. Or not heresy, but just giving it all up. Der Yetzer Hara is geworden als chutzpahdiker. His evil inclination became more and more chutzpahdik. Hat gerät zu Yankovin mit Azus. His Yetzer Hara spoke to him with gall. Es ist nicht kein Gott. There is no God. Es ist nicht kein jene Welt. The next world also doesn't exist. Hat geheißen Yankovin sich schmaden. He suggested, or he ordered, that Jacob should convert out. Kassen haben mit Wanden, Mary Wanda, oder lechalapachas mizana sein mit dir, or at least carry on an affair with her.
Is Azus, is that Gaul?
Azus is Gaul. It's the same, Azus Panim. Yeah, Azus.
Okay.
Yeah. Nach dem Schnitt, after the harvest was finished, haben die Pasticher auf den Berg zugekriegt Holjanke. The shepherds on the hill prepared a merriment. In die Jahren, was Yankov hat da gepashet, Jan Pshik's behemoths, in those years that Yankov had been shepherding the cattle of Jan Pshik. Seien die Pasticher wie viel Mal zugestanden zu Yankovin? The shepherds, how many times had urged Yankov, soll sich briederen mit say, that he should become like a brother to them. He should go around with them. Sie haben ihm zugerät, gestrascht. They spoke to him, they threatened, aber is jedes Mal geworden von sei lies. But he shook them off every time. Hat nicht getort essen, sehr Speis. He wasn't supposed to eat their food. Hat nicht getort und nicht gekonnt, hören sehr wilde Lieder. He wasn't supposed to, and he was actually unable to listen to their wild songs, die narrische Gelächteren, their silly laughter, the pustered, the empty speech, dem nibel peh, the profanity. Or nibel peh is actually not profanity as much as
obscenity.
Obscenity, thank you. Die Pasticher haben mamisch gedient getzlich, wie in die uralte Zeiten, der Polen ist geworden a christliche Medina. The shepherds were actually worshiping idols, like in the age-old times before Poland had become a Christian nation. Die Meuden haben kamat alle geboren Mamzeren. The girls, almost all of them, bore bastard children. So von dem Gesemmel is verkrippelt and halb meshuga. The majority of this gang was crippled and half crazy. Mit Wasserkep, Koltenes, Kretz, Geuders, verkrimpte und verwahrloste Glieder, with these various physical ailments. Water on the head, a Wasserkep, it's a word for that, hydrocephalus. Coltinus is a hair problem, I think. Kretz is scabies, I think. Geuders is gout. Verkrimpte, shortened, und verwahrloste and unusable limbs. Keiner hat dann nicht gewusst von sein Busche. No one knew about his embarrassment. A Steger, wie man wollt noch da gehalten vor der Sint mit den Eitzadoas. Just as it would have, no one there had any sense of embarrassment, just as it had been before the sin of the tree of knowledge. Yankov hat nicht einmal getracht. It wasn't only once that Yankov thought, as das dozeke pebble is noch efscher nicht derwachsen se bechira, that this gang of people had perhaps not even reached the stage of being able to choose. Sie seien efscher a Restel von die Welten, was Gott hat, leut Medrash, gebeut und zerstört. They are perhaps a remnant of those worlds that God had, according to the Midrash, built and destroyed. Eder hat beschaffen die itztige Welt, before he created this world. You get that, by the way, from the first words of Genesis, Bereshis bara. In a beginning, God created. There might have been other beginnings. Yankov hat sich gehat ausgelernt, wie soll weg zu gucken von sie. Yankov had taught himself how to look away from them. Sie nicht sehen, wie sie wollten gewähn heile Luft. To not even see them, as if they were just empty air. Ob sie haben gerissen Grosen in der Nieder, if they were collecting grass down in the valley, hat aruf geklettert in der Heich. He would climb up to the tall part, to the high parts. Hat sie ausgemitten, die Unreinkeit. He avoided them as he would avoid something unclean. Tag und Wochen, seinen Telmol Riber. Days and weeks sometimes passed, when hat keinem von sie nicht begegnet, and he didn't meet any of them. Wiewohl es hat gegriebelt und geschwibbelt mit sie arum, even though the area around and around was swarming with them. Achutz dem, was is an avere, sich zu der Nentrens as a gehinterts. Besides the fact that it is sinful to come close to such a gehinterts. Gehinterts. Is that from Hund or is it from hinter? What is gehinterts?
I've seen the translation. I think the derivation would be interesting. I've found the translation somewhere as rabble, but I'm sure you're right that it has something to do either with hinten or hund. But
yeah, I'm just looking it up in Naborsky here, which is taking a long time. Gehinterts, rabble or riffraff. But what does it come from? Is it from hinter or is it, yeah. Anyway, it's rabble. Is das euch a sakana? So not only would it be a sin, it would also be a danger. Sie haben gekonnt anfallen auf Emerson, unschum siba. They were capable of attacking someone without any sort of reason. Wie die wilde Bestias, like wild beasts. Krankheit, Yisurim, Blut, hat erweckt in sie Gelächter. Illnesses, tortures, blood, it all awakened in them laughter. Aber sie haben upon him Jahr sich gehad angeschmust, zu nehmen ihm mit Gewalt. But it seems that this year they had abgeschmust. They had talked among themselves and decided to take him forcefully. In einem Abend, so one evening, nachdem wie Wanda is weg, after Wanda had left, seien sie befallen Yankov's Stall. They attacked Yankov's barn von alle Seiten, from all sides, wie a machne Krieger, like an army of fighters, was leuren stiller hate auf a Festung, that are besieging silently a castle, und nehmen sie ein mit Sturm, and then overwhelm it with a storm. A Rege is gewinn still, und man hat bloß gehört das Grillzen von die Grillen. For one moment, it was silent. You could only hear the chirping of the crickets. Mit amol, but suddenly is anstanen a Gepilder. There arose a commotion, a heulenisch, a howling. Und von alle Seiten seinen angelaufen Schutzen, and from all sides, the Schutzen, the lads, came running up. Schutzen and Shikses, the non-Jewish lads and lasses. Sie haben getragen Steine. They were carrying stones, Steckens, sticks, Strick, rope. In Anheb hat Yankov gemeint, as sie seien gekommen im Teuten. At first, Yankov thought that they had come to kill him. Is, wie Yankov Avinu, gewinn great, sei zu Milchama und sei sich abzubetten bei sie. Just like our ancestor Jacob, he was ready both for fighting and also to abzubetten bei sie, to plead with them, und sich auszukaufen mit der Matane, and to buy them off with some sort of a gift. Das Hemd auf dem Leib, the shirt on his back. Hat gehabt a groben Stecken, he grabbed a thick stick und genommen Fochen mit him, and he began to wave it about von alle Seiten, on all sides. Macht muss die meiste seinen gewinn krank. Because most of that gang were ill, hat man sie gekonnt leicht verjagen. He was able to easily drive them off. Aber bald is rausgetreten einer von sie. But soon one of them stood forth, a Fürsprecher, spokesman, thank you. Was hat gekonnt das menschliche Laschen, who actually knew human speech. Besser von the anderen, better than the others, und genommen teinen. And he began to argue. As they meinen nicht kein Schlechts, they're not intending any evil. Sie seien gekommen verbetten Jankoven. They had come to request that Jacob soll mit sie trinken and tanzen, that he should come to drink and dance with them. Jener hat gestammelt. That fellow was stuttering. Gavert. Gaveren. It's what's Gaveren?
Slobber.
Slobbered. Verdreht die Wörter, and he was twisting around his words. Die andere seinen Schein, weiß das, gewinn besäufen. Now the others were already apparently in their cups, besäufen. I assume it means drunk. Weil sie haben gelacht wild, because they were laughing wildly. Sich gebeugen von Krampfen, and they were bending over with cramps. Gefallen zu der Erde von Chachenisch, and falling on the ground laughing. Andere haben gequitscht, wie Mishigoyim. Others were squeaking like crazy people. Yankov hat übergetrachtet war. So Yankov thought it over for a bit. Hat benommen, als kann das mal von sie sich nicht herausdrehen. He understood that this time he was unable to twirl away from them. Hat so getan, I'll game mit euch, aber nicht essen. He said to them, I'll come with you, I won't eat.